I am a simple man, I will admit. So when it comes to my WrestleMania type of flavor, it is completely different from a lot of different people. One thing I'm going to say is this is a very opinionated video. So if you have any disagreements, just know that this is my opinion and I don't really give a crap. These are my 10 greatest WrestleMania matches of all time. Number 10, the first ever Money in the Bank ladder match for WrestleMania 21. I was just about maybe 6 years old watching this. And I remember WrestleMania 21 very vividly. I remember the Undertaker Randy Orton match. It was a great match that really began the run of the Undertaker streak. John Cena and Batista becoming the crown jewel of WWE at the time. But this match in particular stands out for many different reasons. One, it's the six best athletes of Monday Night Raw going at it in an amazing ladder match. Two, the entrance of Kane is just fantastic with the ladders on fire, which I think was the rest of the ladders that they were supposed to use. So it was pretty hilarious to me that all those ladders were set on fire, but also just overall the athleticism and greatness of this match is so good. The first ever Money in the Bank ladder match is a classic for so many reasons. Shelton Benjamin was a fantastic little treat in this match, from the running clothesline to the flip to just overall, just Shelton Benjamin I think could have been so good if he was able to have more charisma. Christian was great in this last WrestleMania until WrestleMania 25. Chris Jericho the same, really good. And of course you got to talk about Chris Benoit, who was the MVP of this ladder match. The story that they were telling for Chris Benoit, so the resiliency, dealing with stitches in his head, an injured arm, but of course the ultimate opportunist Edge winning the match, winning the Money in the Bank ladder match, and of course what he did almost a year later with the Money in the Bank briefcase. A fantastic WrestleMania match, a fantastic way to really just a fantastic overall just sequence of events that really kicked off what would be the tradition up until WrestleMania 26. Number 9, Bianca Belair versus Sasha Banks at WrestleMania 37, Night 1. Significant for so many reasons. One, for me, it was the first ever all African American main event at a WrestleMania, featuring two of the best female athletes at the time. Bianca was very young, having just been called up to the main roster almost a year ago, and Sasha Banks was a veteran at the time, having already competed in great matches, but never really getting that little spotlight that she deserved. And on this night, at WrestleMania 37, she was able to showcase what she was able to do for the last nearly 10 years, or 5 years at that point, in her run in WWE. And also, the significance of WrestleMania 37 in so many ways. It was the first WrestleMania with a crowd in attendance, the first wrestling event with a crowd in attendance in like the last year because of COVID-19. This match is so fun to watch, and I do need to rewatch this even over and over. And I think this still is going to hold up as one of, if not the best women's matches in WWE history. One, the greatness of Bianca Belair to even do what she did in that match in that night was fantastic. The strength, the raw strength that she showed, Sasha Banks, the selling that she did, and the near falls that they put together was just so great. And that little opening, the emotion on Bianca Belair's face with Sasha Banks almost crying. I almost got a tear in my eye when I saw it. I just was so happy for these two. Bianca winning was the right decision, crowning her as the next future of the women's division, and she still is. She is now the face of the women's division. Whether she is going to be a heel at the end of the day or a face, regardless, Bianca Belair has been fantastic in her run. Banks, on the other hand, I used to be a Sasha stan, but unfortunately, I know I fell off after the unfortunate incident in 2022, and I just don't think that she carries the same weight as she did before. But when she was at her best, she was at her best. Also, that whip spot. Yeah, it's crisp. Number set. it. Number 8, Cody Rhodes versus Seth Rollins at WrestleMania 32. You're going to see a lot of recent WrestleMania matches on here. This one in particular is super unique because, one, we didn't know who Seth Rollins was going to face at the show. And though it was going to be a surprise opponent from like the past or even beforehand. So when we found out that this was Cody Rhodes making his return to WWE since 2016, literally was just amazing. Because one, Cody Rhodes was still, we just remember Cody Rhodes from when he left WWE and when he went to AEW and he had a run and then he had that ladder match with Sammy Guevara. We didn't know what was going to happen. Then he makes his appearance at WrestleMania. He had the Cody belt, and it was super amazing to see that entrance. To watch all the sequence live was just unreal. And then the match itself is so good. These two had great chemistry. Of course, Seth being understandably upset makes perfect sense, but I loved this match in particular because of how well these two worked together. These two went to have two more great matches, including that Hell in a Cell in June. But this match was the catalyst of the run that we would get from Cody Rhodes, who didn't lose a step in what he normally would do in a WWE ring. And these two was just so perfect together. The sequences that they had, the over the top rope spot that they had, the Falcon Arrow, which was incredible, the great exchange, and then Cody hitting the Crossroads to win. I love this match in particular. Not a great WrestleMania in my opinion. WrestleMania 38 is, but it's still a great match that they had on that show. Speaking of great matches, Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels. Yes, this match is very low on my list because I've seen better matches, especially ones live, but in person, I should say. But in overall total, this is one hell of a match that should be 5 stars. One, these two, I've watched this match so many times. It still shocks me how this match is just so good. These two hadn't wrestled each other in 11 years. Picture that. They hadn't wrestled each other in 11 years in a singles match on a pay-per-view. These two had Hell in a Cell matches, a casket match, but never a match at WrestleMania. And when these two got together on the grandest stage, this match ruled in just so many ways. Of course, you can't really talk about a lot of different things because it's already been mentioned before, but all I will say is this match to me, when I was watching it live, really thought for a minute that I thought the streak was going to end because Shawn Michaels pulled out all the stops. You think that's just for somebody like Shawn, who was getting up there in age at the time. You think that he was slowed down? No, he was still fantastic, still the best damn thing in the ring. And this was the best match of WrestleMania 25 by far, on a sluggish show, which had Santina in the WWE title match. This match just completely rewrote what a great WrestleMania match should be. And all in all, the story of it was just perfect. The moonsault counter into a tombstone at the end. Whew, oh man, this match for me is just super perfect, and I keep watching this over and over for so many reasons. The tombstone kick out with the Undertaker face, the sweet chin music, the dive over the top rope, it's just so much that happened in this match. I can't really describe it. Austin versus Rock 3. Austin versus Rock 3. Number 6 at WrestleMania 19. I like this match compared to the other two. I think X7 is great, but the finish is kind of rocky. No pun intended. Because 19 has a real definitive finish in a way. One, it's The Rock finally getting his win over Stone Cold at WrestleMania. Two, it's just an all-around emotional roller coaster. Earl Hebner as the referee, very fitting. 19, a very, very good WrestleMania, one of the best WrestleManias ever. You will see a top 10 of my WrestleManias of all time. And I have an interchangeable top 5. This is there for a reason. I've watched this WrestleMania numerous times over and over. This match in particular is my favorite from that show because of how Stone Cold went out. One more round on his vest, The Rock as his opponent. 19 years later, he would face Kevin Owens, but before that, this was just amazing. Great sequences. You know, The Rock was going to oversell a stunner at some point. Two rock bottom kickouts to lead to the final pinfall, which was fantastic. I thought that this was a great closing to Stone Cold's career. I wasn't able to watch this WrestleMania. I don't have a particular memory from like 2003. My earliest memory of wrestling is like in 2004, like late 2004. But I've watched this one numerous times, and I just say to myself, this match just hits. And I just love the fact that this was the final sequence of Stone Cold up until WrestleMania 38. So good, so crisp, so great this match is. And of course, The Rock in that win, the right choice at the end of the day. And then also just like the two having a great embrace, and then Stone Cold walking up the ramp before the main event. I love this match. Love this all the way around. Number 5. You're going to have a little bit of controversy here and there. Why not? Undertaker versus AJ Styles, the Boneyard match from WrestleMania 36, the main event of a WrestleMania that is particularly controversial for many different reasons. But this to me was like super different, super unique. One, it's the final match of The Undertaker, which I thought really just closed out everything about his character, everything about his career. And then AJ Styles was the perfect opponent. You would have thought maybe AJ Styles and Undertaker would probably have a semi-decent match if this was in front of a crowd. But if this was to happen in front of a crowd, who knows? The Undertaker probably would still be going in the ring right now. Who knows? But the way that this was all set up, this was perfect. They had a great cinematic sequence match, which was basically a buried alive match, just with the extra theatrics. Undertaker smashing his hand on a car, legitimately busting himself open, was hilarious. AJ Styles coming in with the Hearst Undertaker theme song was great. Undertaker being the American badass for a night was fantastic. And then just overall, the two had just a great, fun overall match, which was not a match, but also just like something super unique. You had the Druids coming out to attack the Undertaker. You had Gallows and Anderson trying to help AJ Styles, and then those two would be shifted off to TNA, which was so great. And then the final with like Undertaker coming from behind AJ Styles once AJ Styles had the match won, and then the face that AJ Styles would make, which is so great. And then of course the tombstone, and then AJ Styles saying, "Don't bury me." This was fun. I remember watching this with my mom, watching this, and it's so great to kind of relive that moment again. I wish I could relive it with her, but unfortunately I can't. This match really was super, super good to like enjoy, and of course my favorite of all time, retiring in the way that he should have, in a match that he kind of made famous. Who would have thought? Number 4, Triple H versus The Undertaker, no holds barred, WrestleMania 27. This is my favorite streak match. One, because of the emotion within it. Coming off the heels of WrestleMania 26 with the retirement of Shawn Michaels, Triple H going after The Undertaker in all, almost like redemption in a way for what The Undertaker did. And Triple H, these two had an amazing no words segment on Monday Night Raw to confirm the WrestleMania match, with The Undertaker doing the throat slash, Triple H doing the suck, the build up of this match, back and forth promos up to this night at WrestleMania 27. Terrible WrestleMania, by the way. But this is the best match on the card. It starts fast, it starts furious, it's long, but if you can get past that and look at the story context and just overall how these two worked this match, you will understand why this match is so high on so many people's list as a great WrestleMania match, and also one of the best Undertaker streak matches. Because Undertaker didn't look dominant in this match. He was beaten down, brutalized, almost super hurt all the way to the very end. We saw him take 3 pedigrees. We saw him take a tombstone. Then it was going to be a sledgehammer. Then, just at the last minute, him putting in the Hell's Gate on Triple H. To literally escape was just perfect. Now, I am someone who really is someone who finds this match as a top tier WrestleMania match. All because of how this was set up, and at the same time just how brutal this match could be. But I do enjoy a bit of technical classics, like Kurt Angle versus Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 21. This match is fantastic. Two of the best technical wrestlers in their time competing against each other. Chef's kiss. You had the Acai moonsault onto an announce table, which was reinforced. You had Kurt Angle hitting an angle slam on the back of the steel post. You had Shawn Michaels hitting one of the best sweet chin musics. You had Kurt Angle's non-stop vigorous ankle locks. I love this match, not just because of the story that they built up beforehand, but also just the crispness of Shawn Michaels and Kurt Angle. A SmackDown versus Raw match at a WrestleMania. The story with Marty Jannetty, the story with Sensational Sherry, the way that they got to it on Monday Night Raw. Yeah, this match, it actually started at the Royal Rumble, by the way, with Shawn Michaels eliminating Kurt Angle. And then just a 20-minute masterclass of two of the best at the underrated WrestleMania, by the way, WrestleMania 21. Underrated. I enjoy this. I need to rewatch this again over and over and over. I have rewatched this a few times, but I still can't believe it, just how amazing this match was. And it will go on to have 2 other fantastic ones in the year going at Vengeance and on Monday Night Raw. I wish these two had one more after that, but all in all, this match stands as just a perfect match. And of course, Kurt Angle and Shawn Michaels are coming off 2 different directions from other WrestleManias. Kurt Angle was the main event of WrestleMania 19 and competed in the WWE title match at WrestleMania 20. Shawn Michaels was the main event of WrestleMania 20 and had a match against Chris Jericho at WrestleMania 19. This was just perfect. So perfect. Number 2, and it's time for some controversy. Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns and The Rock at WrestleMania 40 in the main event. You're going to see some recency bias here. I don't care. I was live for this match, sitting up in the nosebleeds, watching all this go down. The entrances, the overall raw feeling, the brawling, the physicality. I enjoyed the hell out of this match. I walked away with no voice at the end of night 1. And it's because these 4 put on such a genuine, emotionally filled main event. For starters, the build to this was fucking insane. It was supposed to be Cody versus Roman. Then turned into Roman versus Rock. Then Cody got involved and said, you know what, screw it. Why not make it myself versus Roman? Rock slapped Cody. Cody slapped Rock. Seth got involved. And then this all took place in Philadelphia. I could not believe the sequence that was going down in this night. And for all intents and purposes, this really was just insane how this match really just went all about. First of all, The Rock's first wrestling match since WrestleMania 29. Well, yeah, I was hyped for that. Roman Reigns main eventing a WrestleMania, and then Seth Rollins and Cody Rhodes headlining another show, and this is before these three actually had a match at WrestleMania, which was insane because these two were supposed to face each other. Seth Rollins was supposed to face Drew McIntyre, and then The Rock was just The Rock. He was just going to stick around and do whatever he wanted. There was great spots. You got The Rock cursing at the referee. You had Seth Rollins wrestling with like one leg and a freaking terrifyingly terrible back. And Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes were Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes. Of course, the final sequence saw Cody be pinned, which is kind of crazy because people were saying like, "Oh, that's like when Solo pinned Cody Rhodes. Oh, that was the first time that Cody Rhodes got pinned in over a year." No, Cody got pinned at this WrestleMania in night one. I think people forget that because this was just so good, and at the same time, the story was just fantastic, and it just wanted to build a different story. But the way that night one ended set up what would genuinely be the best main event in WrestleMania history, which is Cody Rhodes versus Roman Reigns at WrestleMania Night 2 in my hometown. Bloodline rules. And even beforehand, this was a genuinely great match. I'm just going to keep it short. For somebody that was there live, seeing all the things that happened and went down, from the Usos to Solo to John to Rock to Seth to Undertaker, yeah, and then finished the story. I genuinely have zero regrets putting this as a number one, because this was a monumental night in the history of WWE. It rewrote the course of what WWE is today, ending the 1,316-day reign of the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns. The entrances was just fantastic. The incredible in-ring work was fantastic. The kickouts from a spear, Roman hitting a cross and say, "Hey, nobody can win a match with that move," and then Roman falling to it 3 cross roses, so perfect. And then we don't see Roman for nearly until August, and then Cody has the run that he has as the champion, as the captain, and now he's heading into WrestleMania as the captain, as the guy who is going to face John Cena, the guy who helped him win the title, or one of the guys that helped him win the title. Genuinely, all in all, I love this match. It will always be my particular go-to match for me to watch, and always look back at the clips that I got and just say like, yes, this was wrestling for me. However, I have a bonus. The Firefly Funhouse from WrestleMania 36. John Cena versus the Being Bray Wyatt. You want to talk about a systematic destruction of a character? Look no further than this match to this guy at one of the weirdest WrestleManias of all time. I watched this live. The first thought that went through my mind was, what am I watching? And then I started to realize, this is more than just a match. This is literally Bray Wyatt calling out the flaws and the overall crapness of what John Cena's character has been, and what Vince has been pushing for years with John Cena. A guy that's just another muscle meat headed man who's just being pushed because he just has the looks, can't really wrestle, has so many flaws within himself, has buried so many different people. And this was kind of like redemption. You know, WrestleMania 40 kind of rewrote the wrongs of like WrestleMania 39 and 38. This match rewrote the wrongs of WrestleMania 30 with what happened between Bray Wyatt and John Cena beforehand. God rest Bray Wyatt's soul. I miss him every single day because his creativity held no bounds. He's one of the reasons why I pursue writing, pursue poetry, and like how I pursue my creativity in a way that is different from anything else. One of the reasons why I embrace my weirdness, my quirkiness, is because Bray was able to showcase that on a major platform. His creativity within this match with John Cena was superb. We saw the NWO version of John. We saw the ruthless aggression version of John. We saw when John, if he swung the chair on Bray Wyatt, how different things would be. And when it was the Sister Abigail that was hit, and seeing Bray making John almost disappear afterwards. Talking about this match is super hard for me because of how emotional I would probably get talking about Bray Wyatt. He was one of my favorites in the recent memory of wrestling. I got to see his return at Extreme Rules. Wyndham was surreal. If you never got to fully appreciate what he was able to do, then you truly missed out on a guy who, at the end of the day, really was just special. He was special. Always will be. I keep this match super high on my list for if you want to see storytelling at its finest, look no further than this match. If you want to see creativity from a human being, look at this guy right here who created this masterpiece, and the guy who sold it all was this guy right here. Rest in peace, Bray, and of course with the final run that we're having, thank you, John, for an amazing career. That is my greatest WrestleMania match list of all time. Is a lot of recency bias, but I don't care. Again, this is just my opinion. You can leave your comments down below of what you think are your what you think about this list, and at the same time, what are your favorite WrestleMania matches? What do you think are the greatest WrestleMania matches of all time? Leave it down below. Like, comment, subscribe. The week of WrestleMania is here. It is Sunday. We are completely nearly days away from Saturday. I plan to probably live stream. Probably. But overall, WrestleMania, here we are. Thank you all so much for watching this video, and I will see you all in the next one.